upcoming Webtoon 2025 contest. Are you wondering how your story can be improved? What lessons you can take away? Well, Webtoons just recently announced the judges for the upcoming contest in every category, and we have a lot to discuss. Like, there's so many things that we can take away from this, I feel, that can help us improve in general, because like Webtoons didn't just get like any creators, they kind of pulled from their top brass, like people who are like fan favorites that readers love, that readers like stick around for their series. And so we're going to discuss this. We're going to talk about all of the things and why I feel like the announcement of this judging is so beneficial for us. Obviously, pause the disclaimer to read it, but guys, just remember, I'm a random dude on the internet just yapping away about stuff. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. All right, so with that, hello, yes, I'm back. Let's talk about how we can jump into like benefiting from this announcement, and why I kind of think this is like so beneficial to us is because it gives us a really clearer picture on how the contest is going to go. I feel like a lot of people kind of were thinking that Webtoons wanted like a clone stamp of what they're already doing. And I just want to elaborate on this is like trends are completely okay to follow. Like, for instance, when Twilight came out, so many people were jumping on the vampire bandwagon. Like, so many books were being greenlit. Like, publishers really wanted that type of series. Like, they wanted it. But as you can see, as time goes on, things change. Like, the publishing houses, a lot of them didn't go away, but they adapted to new trends, to new things that are popular. And so like Webtoons has like a certain vibe going on right now. Like, people might be like, oh, it's just a platform for romance. No, it's not, because there are tons of series on there that are super popular. So when we look at the contest categories with the judges announcement, what is really interesting about this, okay, and to clarify, they didn't announce all of the judges. They only announced the judges that would be involved in the contest that are like announced. So all the other judges, we have no clue who they are. But with these judges in particular, I feel like for each category, it adds a little bit of clarity to it, because I feel like certain people were like kind of locking in on like, oh, if I'm entering into the most epic, it has to be action. Well, if we look at one of the judges for this, it's the Hooky creator, which I feel like leans itself more towards like fantasy over the action. So like with the announcement for each judge in the category, I feel like it gives us a more well-rounded perspective. So then let's talk about unique stories. Like, so many people, I think, were concerned also about the fact that Webtoons literally just kind of wants to like mass produce the same story over and over again. And to an extent, yes, but also they already have a production line for that. So they don't want that, I think, from people participating in the contest. They want something different, something fresh, something catchy. They want to be able possibly to have like a new Lore Olympus like come out of nowhere and just like steal the spotlight. And you know what? Now that I think about it a little bit more, maybe that's what they're trying to recreate. Maybe they're trying to recreate the Lore Olympus effect. Like, back when Lore Olympus was like popping off, so many other stories from Canvas were popping off. Like, I'm thinking about stories like I'm the Grim Reaper, I'm thinking about Unordinary, I'm thinking about Hooky, I'm thinking about Everything Is Fine. Like, all of those stories were just like huge. Like, they just blew up on the platform, and a lot of them came from Canvas, were a part of contests, all of that stuff. And so maybe Webtoons is like, we need to recreate this magic. We really need this to happen again. So I feel like this is now the time for people to tell stories that they feel would not necessarily be Webtoons' cup of tea, and they could have a chance of gaining success on the platform. Next, I kind of want to cover a little bit of the like diverse art styles. So this is another thing. Webtoons do have a particular look, and there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with a company having like particular style associated with them. We think about Studio Ghibli. We think about like tons of other, companies that have like an artistic print. And it's completely fine that Webtoons wants their artistic print to be overall that manhwa looking aesthetic. But here's the thing. So many of their most popular series, which a lot of these judges, you could consider them extremely popular, are from Canvas, and they are different art styles from that manhwa style. Like, I feel like they know the manhwa style does what it needs to do to an extent, but the Canvas series, especially for the US side, seem to be the ones that really pop off in the community. I could be wrong on that. That's just my take. I don't have any numbers. I don't keep up with stuff like that. And I don't know anybody that has insight on that. Like, what are the top US performing series? Which would be really interesting if somebody did like their worst stats for that. Maybe I'll consider looking into that possibly. There's so many parameters to judge though. Like, it would be like number of episodes, numbers of likes, numbers of comics, numbers of subs, numbers of views. Like at what point like what are we judging this off of? Okay, I'll jump off of that. And then I want to highlight a little bit about popularity and business, so we'll kind of develop that as I continue to talk. And I just want to say, like, popularity and business are important aspects for any creator to consider. I don't mean that in a way to say like diminish the way you want to tell your story, but it is something to consider, something to understand. Understanding how the market works, understanding how popularity plays a role in the success of a series is important. Are there instances where series have garnered complete, strong following, huge numbers, all of that stuff without any marketing? I'm sure there are, but majority of them need a little help. And so we're going to cover that as well. Hello everyone. Yes. I'm respawning in the abyss. Seti said, I agree with that. I think they're looking for the next big thing, a new formula that can be more long-standing than romance clones. I don't think the romance clones will stop. Like, do not get that confused at all. I think that is a big moneymaker for Webtoons. Somebody compared some of the romance stories on Webtoons recently to like those books that you get at like an airport that have like the really attractive man shirtless on it holding a woman, and it's just like a fun, like, digestible read. Like, some people like that. Like, people are into it. So I feel like Webtoons will never stop making that because it's a moneymaker for them. Vero said, gonna do my best with what I'm working on, either that or back to not safe for work stuff I'm already doing. Hey, I mean, if you like it, I love it, and if the people are willing to pay for it, you do what you gotta do. Hi, new people. All right, so let's jump into this. So if you're entering the most feels category, it is so very important to understand how impactful these judges can be, in my opinion. Like, I feel like with the reveal of this just sheds a big light that Webtoons isn't necessarily looking for something like very specific. And with each category, we're going to see like how diverse these judges are, how they're not just like three Siren Lament creators talking about like Webtoons, judging Webtoons. Like, these are all different people covering different aspects of romance and slice of life. So let's talk about this. So of course we have to start with none other than Instant Miso, and we're going all the way back to Siren's Lament. We're going to be talking about like just how her series has like really stood out. And I feel like a lot of it is the emotions that it evokes from readers. Like, if you just think about her art style in general, it has like a romantic vibe to it. And I don't know if like that makes sense without somebody reading it, but like the illustrations, the way the paneling is done, like everything that she's created in Siren's Lament just has like such an ethereal sort of beauty to it, like that softness to it. It just pulls people in just from the look of it. Like, I feel like people probably stuck around with that series just to see how the beautiful panels were, like just how it evoked like that sort of I'm falling in love feeling. And I think it's such a cool aspect of her series. Like, I think like she was really illustration focused. Like, I could be wrong. Like, I've read a little bit of Siren's Lament, like, and I'm not downplaying the story or anything. I'm just saying, like, I feel like illustration wise was a huge draw for her series. Like, even her backgrounds, like the way she crafted everything was so strategic. Like, often it'll be like something blurred or out of focus to really emphasize like the character, emphasize their looks, their emotions, their feeling, and it just created this atmosphere of like romance. Like, I think the easiest way to to like kind of translate Siren's Lament's Instant Miso series is kind of like if you heard like a romantic sauna, like this is Siren's Lament. And I think if anybody's like really focusing heavily on like characters or emotional depth or beautiful pictures, like Siren's Lament would be the series to study, to kind of like copy or emulate or whatever you want to say, to be able to improve your own series. Then we have Ingrid Ochoa. She's the creator of the Kiss Bet, and Kiss Bet is just such a different vibe. Like, it is obviously a romantic comedy, but I think the big appeal, the big draw for it is two things. So I feel like if you read the series, it very much feels like a realistic group of friends that are having fun. I mean, there's drama in it, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like this is a very realistic situation that's very relatable, and it's actually funny. Like, there's funny moments in it, especially once you get to know the characters, that I think really speaks to the type of storytelling that Ingrid wanted to do. And although it has like aspects of romance in it, it is a romantic comedy, but I really feel like just the relatability of the series really can help creators, especially ones who are like in slice of life, to really be able to like push their series even further, to really focus on what she's doing. And so here's the second thing. I was recently looking at her Instagram page. I forget what page it was, but she had an announcement on there for her book that's coming out in physical form. And I just thought like, wow, this thing like really pops. And what makes it pop is the colors. Like, her use of colors and the expressions from the characters like really, really, really help that series. And what I mean by help, because I'm sure someone's probably like typing away, what do you mean? Because that is amazing. Like, no. What I'm saying is like there's certain things in every story that the artists, the creators do that are like not necessarily a gimmick, but are an appeal, a draw for the audience. And I think the way her characters act, the way they look, the way she has done the coloring are all things that attract readers to her series. So then we've got Quimchi. And of course, if you guys have you can comment your experiences with any of these series, like what drew you to them, what made you enjoy them, fall in love with them, what made you not fall in love with them. I would love to hear all of that. So Quimchi has I Love You, and this is one series that I've never read. Like, I've looked at images of it, I've seen, I've heard people talk about it, like the Girl Wonder podcast, but I've never read it myself. And I feel like this story is more of a drama from what I understand. And so I could only compile so much of my thoughts on this series, but I felt like it's kind of softer in a lot of ways, but not in the way that Instant Miso is soft. I think it's softer in the way its storytelling is done. It really focuses on like subtle details, I think, so much more than just like bombarding people with like direct. Okay, sorry. I got another message and I was like, oh crap, did my internet go out again? So I was like, wait, let me check this. Let me make sure I'm not getting a message that no one can hear me. But I just felt like from what I understand, the story is that it's a more subtle story that is not just like pow romance. Like, it's really on the drama side. So if you're working on a drama series, if you're trying your best to, tell a compelling drama, like one that does revolve around romance or does revolve around feelings, but is more on that dramatic side, then this would definitely be a story to study and look at. I want to know if you guys would like me to do in the future maybe some like first few episode breakdowns for these series like we did for Love for Walk, because I think like that could be really beneficial, because the way all of these stories are told are just so different. Like Instant Miso with all of those money shots, Ingrid Ochoa with the relatability, and then Quimchi with focusing on like something more dramatic over funny, I think could all be like really nice ways to explain how to tell stories that are similar to these. All right, so let's look at Most Laughs. In Most Laughs, we've got 3 creators again. And I'm super, super, super happy to see one of the creators in particular, because one of the creators was one of the first few webtoons that I picked up and was one of the first few introductions for me to webtoons. Thor Source said, I love Kismet so much. I I'm not caught up, but I did read it, and I do enjoy the series. I think there's a lot of aspects to it that are funny. I just feel like the series in of itself wasn't for me in terms of like I like my romance stories to be quick. And that's just not like webtoons. Like webtoon stories just are not quick. Like the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm just like, and now kiss. Kiss, please. Why are you not kissing? Did you not see that that was your opportunity to kiss? Do you guys not understand visual cues? Do you not understand body language? Like, please kiss. Okay. I'm gonna jump off of that, but that's how I feel. Seti said the comedy in I Love You is what drew me to it at first. It's a very, very slow paced story. Apparently, Webtoons has been advertising it as a love story when it's not. It's more of a life drama. See, that's what I thought. Like, I didn't realize that I Love You was funny. I thought that it was more of a drama. So I can feel that. I can feel that. I'll definitely have to check it out. I Love You might be my sleeper series. Like it might be the series that I need to jump on. Hi, Vanilla. Okay, so the creator I was talking about was Lampcat. If you guys do not know, I am a huge Cursed Princess Club lover. Like, I love that series so much. It's one of the few series that I can say, like, I read from beginning to end. I read weekly. Like, I was caught up. Like, I was in it with that series. Like, I'm buying all of the physical copies as they come out. Like, I'm kind of a diehard for the Cursed Princess Club, and I even made a video on it, like my first impressions on the series, and this was like way back when, like this was like 2 to 3 years ago. So, okay, let's just talk about why Cursed Princess Club is so amazing. Hi, Pollo. Um, so, okay. I feel like the series does not take itself too seriously. Like it goes over some like interesting themes, some tough themes, some like, important themes, but it's so playful about everything. Like it's just like a charming, like old school, like fairy tale, and I love that. Like it's so good. So like I think the best thing about Cursed Princess Club, especially comedy wise, is the comedic timing and how the characters emote. Like, there are some diabolical expressions in Cursed Princess Club. Like, if you want to see how to, like, take your, like, visual comedic expressions further, look up Cursed Princess Club. Like, that would be the place to start. Like, it will be so worth it, I promise. It just has like this lighthearted atmosphere, but it can have its serious moments too. And I want to say that the overall look of it is very minimalist, but you can just tell that so much work was put into the thought behind each character, into the backgrounds, into the fantasy elements, and it really just makes it such an engaging read because like there are elements of that story that are like very one note in terms of this showed up in this one episode and then it was never talked about again, and then it comes up later and like the audience is so excited about it. And so it's just one of those things where I feel like you can really tell an engaging visual story and have it funny, have it like thematic, have it cover complicated themes. There's just so much about it. So it has like this funny whimsy to it that is combined with like these really heartwarming moments. And I feel like if you're entering this category and you have like a deeper meaning on something that you want to say, but it's masked behind like this funny premise, then this would be the story to look at. This would be the story to like really engage with, to really study, to really understand like how to tell something like compelling and funny. So let's talk about Blue Chair. This was by Shin. And so this is an episodic webtoon. And so this is basically like just random things happen every episode and you just roll with it. Like it's super short, super easy. It covers a lot of stuff. Like it can be emotional, it can be funny, it can be introspective. Like there's a lot of things that go into this. Like the designs are super simple. like, think very flat color palette, not like a lot for backgrounds. Like, I honestly, I feel like they probably use the same backgrounds like almost every episode. But I think like the focus here is definitely on it just being funny. Like, definitely on like setting up the gag and then giving you the ending to the gag. So I think like if you're going for like a gag comic, a weekly comic, something like that, then this could be something that you could learn from, something that you could study, especially with this category where you're having to enter, you know, the contest. And I think it's, I can't remember off the top of my head now. Like, my brain is just like, what? I think it's one of the, you have to have like 15 panels. Like, you can see where there could be like someone expounding on Blue Chair episodes to add in more, and this could be something that could really help someone to be able to learn how to tell this type of story in a way that webtoons would find acceptable. Like, I'm trying to think of the best way to say that without like just being like copy Blue Chair. It's just, it's really good. Like, it reminds me of an old school like newspaper comic. It's really good. Now, Unfins and Vampire Family. So I think this is kind of a blend of combining like a unique aesthetic, so that goth design with a bit of elegance, a little bit of playfulness, and then a bunch of exaggerated features. So I think it balances kind of like that dark humor with like some romantic and dramatic type of characters. It has a muted palette, but when I say it has rich colors, I just think within that muted palette, it does kind of have a lot of appeal to it. So even with picking muted colors, I think there's a way for you to be able to tell the story that helps to enhance the reader's experience and enhance like the mood and tone of the scene. So just combining all of this situation with a more supernatural setting, it gives a lot of, basically it gives Adam's Family to me, but like a very like Wednesday sort of vibe. And I feel like that kind of fits with what we were talking about earlier as far as like trends go. Like, people probably watched Wednesday and were probably like, huh, I wonder if anything like this is on Webtoons. Well, read Vampire Family. Like, and so that's where I'm just saying, like, if you're telling something that's funny, that kind of like plays off of the like more humorous elements of like supernatural or fantasy or of any sort of lore or mythology, then you can look at how Vampire Family like did their storytelling and then kind of think of ways that you could tell your story in a more humorous way. I think like this can even apply to like an alien sort of species, but I feel like that's a little more complicated just because people probably won't find it as humorous if your alien species is something that you made up. You know what I mean? But I mean, you can make it work with a lot of thought. All right, let's talk about most epic. And this is also another category that has 3 judges. So if you guys are paying attention, each category so far has had 3 judges. All right. Were we paying attention? Okay. So let's talk about these 3. So Uo-chan and Unordinary. Unordinary, I'm sorry, in my heart it has been dethroned, but it used to be my favorite webtoon. And it's my favorite webtoon because this is the webtoon that I was bombarded with from advertisements, like over and over again. Like, webtoons knew that I would break down and eventually read this webtoon somehow. So I want to talk about the fact that I personally feel that Unordinary has a very polished style, but it just combines so much energy. Like, like the movement, the slower panels, like all of it has a vibe to it. And it kind of balances that with like a little bit of like being in our world, having that like realistic feeling to it, along with having a otherworldly quality to it. So it's still stylized. It really prioritizes, in my opinion, clear storytelling while focusing on just delivering intense action over and over again to the reader and building on the depth that it's set up. So if you read Unordinary, there are moments in it where we kind of get like a pull behind the curtain in the first season, especially to really figure out those characters. Like, Yes, COD. I agree. The first season is so different from the current season, but we're talking about first season right now. We're talking about like what the season was like when it first came out. Like that's the unordinary I'm talking about. And I felt like almost every other episode, to every episode, something action packed would happen. And you would get like these little trinkles of information that would reveal so much more to you about who these characters are, why they're the way they are, like all of that amazing stuff. And so I just feel like yes, you can prioritize action in your series, but there's ways that you can incorporate emotional depth for your characters, your world, all of that stuff. Because there's so much in Unordinary that I feel like even currently caught up that we don't know. That has been going on since the first season. So, like, I felt like Uochan set up like something that readers would love, something readers would be like fully invested in, and then went from there. So, if you're telling a story that is really focused on action, that's really focused on, dynamic battles, focused on like which I feel like maybe people disagree with me, but is more focused on cool powers than the characters, then Unordinary is kind of the story for you. It does have a lot of plot to it, but I'm just saying, if that fits your vibe, then check out Unordinary. All right. Oh, Minty Donut Spaghettio said, "Evening. I'm glad I didn't miss a lot of the stream so far. Had to pick up food. Ooh, what are you eating? I want to know. I'm hungry." Prince Boring said, "I kind of fell off of reading Unordinary about the same time the writer was having a really hard time continuing it. I can feel the negative vibes, but I hope they're back to enjoying creating it." I hope so too. I really do. Oh, Millie said, "My entry is using an alien species. I am very interested on this, Millie. I can't wait to hear more about it." Okay. So getting back to this, so we've got Miriam Bonaster. I'm probably butchering her last name. I'm so sorry, but this is the creator of Hooky. And here's the thing about Hooky. Hooky is another one to me that has a storybook quality to it. It has like such a children's vibe to it that I feel like it's so interesting that I think at first glance, we who are not thinking about who the target audience is might consider this, oh, it's just a comedy. But I think that if you really think about Hooky in of itself, and then I think when Hooky got his book deal, I think with like Penguin or like the people who make like Percy Jackson, stuff like that. Not Disney, before Disney got Percy Jackson. But when I think about that, I feel like it does fit in the wheelhouse as something like Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. What's that other children's one where he's like a detective or whatever? And Hookie's in that same vibe. So I think if anyone's creating a story that fits something more similar to a children's action adventure or a children's fantasy, then Hooky would be the one to copy. So I just want you to think about how Hooky has designed itself. Like, think about the way its characters look. Think about the shading. Think about the colors. How it combines like that fantasy with like that manga sort of aesthetic. And it just comes together in a perfect hodgepodge. Like, it's so good. Thor Store. I thought Miriam's would be Marionetta. I mean, you could go with Marionetta. I picked Hooky because I thought like Hooky was the more famous of the two. Like, I think Hooky was Miriam's first series that kind of led her to the fame that she has right now. Marionetta could also have done it, but I felt like Hooky was the better option. I think you could read both, to be honest. If you're planning, if you need to study a similar series. Like, to me, Hooky, Marionetta is something that I could see like on Cartoon Network, on like Disney Kids, like Nickelodeon, that sort of thing. And so that's why I feel like it just showcases to me even more so that Webtoons is not just looking for like an action series. Like, it's looking for diverse stories in each category. And like when you think about like Hooky is in there with Unordinary, it's in there with Ordeal, it's in there. So like these two other series have very particular target audience, particular vibes and feels to them, but they're all epic stories. They all kind of play on like a grander scale of things. So it's one of those things where I feel like it just showcases you how important it is to really consider like the genre that you're entering and does it fit that vibe, because someone could look at Hooky and think, well, maybe it should be in most feels. It's more of a drama. Not necessarily. Like, think about the world of Hooky. Think about the world of Marionetta. I feel like it's much more of a fit for the epic category than it is for most feels or any other category. Okay, so with all of that in mind, I really wanted to highlight the fact that I think the genre is so important. And if I have not clarified this in videos before, like before you enter, just remember that the categories are subjective, but they are also specific. So really think about if your story fits multiple genres, like if it can hit on feels, epic, laughs, and thriller, think about those first 3 episodes and what they convey the best. When you become an original, you can always change the genre. It's not that deep. Like, it is not that insane for you to be in the romantic category when you're on Canvas and then you become an original and you change genres to something else. It all depends on how you go about telling the story. Yes, I'm sorry, Van. I've already done most feels. You'll have to catch it on the VOD. Sorry. Minty Donut Spaghetti goes, Hooky does sort of remind me of Billy and Mandy and Home for Imaginary Friends. I love Home for Imaginary Friends. I'm sorry. Like, best show ever. Thor Store said, I really want to read both of her comics because I saw her old interviews and one of her recent, and the way she approaches writing is heavily character and is still most epic. I agree with that. 100%. Rena said, Marionetta would belong to gripping category easily. Is that what it's categorized as? All right, now I've got to look this up real quick because I felt like Marionetta was fantasy. Hold on. We got to look this up real quick. I mean, I know you're saying for the contest. Yeah, it's fantasy. Okay, so here's my thing. This is what I was talking about. I feel like Marionetta, you're right. It could be in thriller, whatever, supernatural. I don't know. But on Webtoons, she decided to categorize it as fantasy. And I feel like that fits more within her brand, like as a business decision. Like, does it have like scarier elements to it? Sure. But also, I feel like it makes sense for it to be in fantasy over thriller, just from a business standpoint. Van said, those are the judges that are Webtoon artists, but are there other judges behind that, and which has the more say in the vote? Okay, here's the thing. Like, we're getting sidetracked because let me cover Brent, and then I'll come back and answer that, Vanilla. So Brent, I just want to say, like, love his series, love, like, how his art style, love everything about, like, the way he went about telling his story, like, how, like, there's just so much tenacity from Ordeal that I feel like it does not get the flowers that it deserves all the time, but it's amazing. So just thinking about your story, like, are you telling a story that's somewhat modern to in the near future? Like, Ordeal is definitely the story for you, especially if it's going to be full of action, full of cool powers, full of like unique characters with like very heartfelt stories, all of that stuff. But I think the biggest appeal for Ordeal is like its art. Like, I swear he's making like a gotcha game or something because those character designs are insane. Like the whole appeal to me is literally the characters. But I think another appeal could be like how dynamic everything is, like how you can really see those shonen anime influences, and then like it's all in his style though, combined with like that semi-realistic character designs. It's just chef's kiss. It's so good. Like the characters are hands down the biggest appeal to me, along with like the superpowers. But if from the very beginning you can see like the high level of action and drama, the lighting, the intense expressions, like it goes so hard from the very first panels that I don't think there's any way for anyone to ignore the fact that ordeal is action. like I was talking about unordinary earlier, and unordinary is action as well, but I feel like Brent is like unordinary is like an action movie. Ordeal is like a sports event. Like high non-stop drama the whole time. It's so good. So if that's your vibe, then I would definitely say check that out for sure. Okay. So I just want to get back to what Vanilla was saying earlier. So where are you? I've okay. Are the judges that are webtoon artists? Those are the judges that are webtoon artists, but are there other judges behind that? So to answer that, yes. Like it's going to be like more than just them. If you read in the instructions or the rules or the FAQ, I can't remember where it is specifically, but it mentions that there is going to be webtoon staff involved. There is going to be editors involved. There's going to be webtoon originals, creators involved. So it's going to be a diverse panel. And then, so your next question was, which has the more say in the vote? To be honest, I feel like the panel is a ruse. Like, I feel like Webtoons is not going to invest in stories that they do not want to pay for. Like, let's say that the whole panel is like, oh, we really enjoyed this series that is a complete ripoff of, I don't know, another series. Webtoons ain't going to pay for that. Like, Webtoons is not going to pay for that. Like, Webtoons will not do it. So at the end of the day, all the power lies with Webtoons in the end. Like, the only way I would believe the judging is if they live judge them so that we could hear them discuss it. That's the only way I'd be like, was that what y'all picked? Because unless there's a whistleblower that comes out and is just like, they lied, we didn't pick any of those, I'm just not going to believe it. Sorry to say. Like, I'm just saying from a business perspective, it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, to invest in a series that either one, I have already on the platform and I can see how it's doing, and two, invest in a series that I feel has no potential as a publisher. It's a sucky sort of situation, and I hope that that's not the case. Like, I do hope that everyone gets a fair shake for their series, but I also feel like from a business perspective, doing a contest like this, it can go one of two ways. Either they're really honest and transparent about it, or they bend the truth. So that's just my opinion. Not to down the mood, but I think that's the reality. All right. So let's talk about the most thrilling category, and something is very sus about this category. I will forever think this, and it is basically the fact that there are only 2 creator judges while every other category has 3 judges. I personally think someone dropped out. Like, I would love to know why there's only 2. And I thought with Purple Hyacinth having 2 creators, maybe they'd be like, oh, the third judge is one of the other creators. They did not do that either. So I'm just very, very confused about this. Very confused. Fat Tacky Cat said Ordeal could be its own comic book series. I feel like it's wasted on Webtoons. In some aspects, I agree with you. Where were the judges announced? I think they announced this in a newsletter, but they also announced it on their platform. Like, they announced it publicly. So I would have to find the link, but I think you could look on either their Instagram or their Twitter, because even some of the the creators who are judges mentioned it in their stories. Like, I remember the Marionetta creator mentioned it. So, Flan said either someone dropped or Webtoons didn't think there would be many entries. I don't think that they didn't get another creator because they thought there would only be a few entries. Because at the end of the day, like, it's a panel of creators, so they're going to have a panel of judges regardless. So getting one extra person wouldn't have been a big deal. I personally think, because if you look at all of the series that were kind of advertised, I wonder if like School Bus Graveyard Creator was like, nah, I'm good. Because there's a bunch of people that could have entered this category. Like, I think about Grave from I'm the Grim Reaper. I think about School Bus. What's another big thriller-y creator that could have been on this? So I don't know. I have weird feelings about the fact that they decided to only do two. I feel like two could have been, it's fine. It's not a huge deal, but I think it would have been cool for across the board to have like three creators on each panel. All right, so let's talk about this. So is fine. It does an amazing job of just making you feel unsettled. And I think that is the biggest appeal of the series. Like, when you first start reading it, it's just so off-putting how everything is done. Like, the way the story looks, the way the characters act, the dialogue, like everything about it just wheels you in to be like, what is happening? Why is it happening? And why don't I understand? So I really, really think, oh, yes, 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 Nevermore would have been a great addition to this category. And I'm sure they would have been up for it. But anyway, getting back to this, I'm sorry. I saw that comment and my brain was just like, you're so right. But getting back to this, thinking about everything is fine overall, like, it is so minimalist. It's crazy. Like, I think it's literally flats and cell shading, and even the cell shading is like very limited. It's like here or there, like hit or miss. So with all of that being said, I just want to highlight the fact that like you can tell a story just from the way you craft it with minimalist effort artistically. Is a lot of the stuff well thought out? Is a lot of the stuff incorporating like dynamic angles and shots and all of that stuff? Absolutely. But I'm just saying, as far as the art goes, like, it is not the most complicated art style, but look at its success. So this is an instance where I just want to highlight art style in general. All of these creators that we've discussed, each one of their styles is so very different, and yet they have managed to find like high levels of success on Webtoons. So don't doubt your art style. Like, just keep improving it, keep doing your best, keep, working away at it. Are there going to be styles that are artistically more appealing? Sure, but that doesn't mean they're successful. There's tons of Webtoons that have probably better art style than Everything Is Fine, but they're not more successful. So, I mean, Mike is laughing all the way to the bank. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, he's fine with the way his comic looks. Okay. I also think another big appeal in Everything Is Fine is its themes. So it covers a lot of like unique, weird themes that I wasn't expecting it to cover for a like very unsettling series. Like, I really thought it was gonna be like a slasher or something like that. So I think that that can also be an appeal just in of itself. So let's talk about Purple Hyacinth. I think Purple Hyacinth's biggest appeal is the art style. And this is one of the few series that I feel like falls into the manhwa aesthetic, which is fine. Like, it's not 100% manhwa. It's like they love manhwa and they took manhwa and did their own thing with it. completely love that for them. But I just want to say that, you know, just like Siren's Lament, webtoons is a visual medium. And so if you do have an appealing art style, half the battle. But the story also still has to be somewhat decent in order to carry readers to the next episode. I think another thing that was really nice about Purple Hyacinth is its character designs and then the backgrounds. Like the backgrounds feel so lived in to me that I feel like it just creates a really nice like atmosphere. It's very striking and it just fits like that webtoon sort of aesthetic. Minty Donut Spaghetti said, I'm betting the pay was not that high for the judges. How much do judges get paid anyway? I don't think the judges are getting paid anything, to be honest. Like, I think Webtoons asked them and they said, okay. Like, I'm just being 100% honest with you there. But going back to Purple Hyacinth, so everything is fine. It's kind of like like it lends itself to like a Stepford Wives, to a like serial killer sort of vibe, and Purple Hyacinth to me is more of a murder mystery. So like depending on how you're telling your story, if you want to go with like a more mystery detective sort of thing, then Purple Hyacinth. If you're looking for something that's more on the horror side of things, that has like a little bit of weird humor to it, then I would go with Everything Is Fine. Vanilla said, to be honest, I clicked on Everything Is Fine because I thought the art style was so different from everything else. It's not my personal favorite art style, but I still stayed because I was so sucked into the story. Exactly. Like there's so much that is involved in Everything Is Fine. Like it is well crafted. Like Mike is doing the thing. Okay, so when we think about who the judges are and their experience in the industry, I do think like with them being creators, it does add a little bit of balance, in my opinion, to the judging category. I still think at the end of the day, Webtoons is going to pick who they want to pick. But I do think if they're going for a more fair route of doing things, then the having those creators to be able to relay the experience, to be able to talk about like, you know, oh, this panel is amazing, it probably took them like 16 hours to make it, like all of that like really helps. So what makes a webtoon contest entry successful based on past winners? So when we look at the past winners, I think the biggest thing is probably how the story is crafted. And what I mean by that is I think like Webtoons probably takes into consideration a lot of things about a story that is beyond just writing and art. Is your story written in an engaging way? So Webtoons talks a lot about in the newsletters like the launch hook, like cliffhangers, like all of that sort of stuff. And all of that is for the audience. Like it's not necessarily for creators. And so I think if you set up your story in a way that shows that you understand that you're creating a product, then I think Webtoons is more inclined to work with you. Now, is every creator doing that? Not necessarily. Like, you know, the everything is fine. The Unordinary creator, I don't know if they were doing that with their original entry when they entered the contest. I don't know if the Kiss Bet was doing that. They could have just been focusing on telling good stories. But I do think from a business perspective, if I'm dealing with the creator and I see that they understand that, you know, like these are things to do, strategies to implement, to engage, then it gives me a little bit of, what's the right word? Relief that I'm dealing with someone who's not just a complete creative. Okay, some common mistakes to avoid that could hurt your chances. Obviously the editing thing. Like, I'm so glad they clarified that, but obviously stuff like that. But I think some things that could hurt you is heavy exposition in the first episode, is characters that are too many characters within the first few episodes. I don't want to say a boring premise because like any story could be boring depending on who's reading it, but let's go with an uninspired premise. So if there's a story on Webtoons that is on Webtoons very successful and you submit a story that's the exact same thing, like I'm sure Webtoons would be like, what the heck? Why? Like we already had Lore Olympus. We don't want another one. Like we've still got Lore Olympus. They're still advertising that bad boy. So that's why I'm just like, there's just things where I feel like we can make unique stories. Okay, and then the last thing, how to tailor your webcomic to meet industry standards and impress the judges. So we already kind of talked about this, and I think that's where, like, industry standards would be what Webtoons is currently producing on the platform. And I would say implementing all of the stuff that Webtoons is telling you to do within the first 3 episodes, like that would show that you understand to a reasonable degree, like what Webtoons is expecting from you and what they want. I also think if you're trying to impress the judges, like if you're so excited for like, Brent to read your series or for Instant Miso to read your series, like if they're like your, I don't know, I was about to say aspirations, but that's not the right word. But if there are people that are important to you and that you want to connect with through your story, I would say, just submit a good story. Submit something that you think that not only they would enjoy, but other people would enjoy. I do think for people like Instant Miso or Brent who have like a very particular thing that they do, like Brent's art style for one thing, I'm sure he would appreciate another overly detailed, hyper rendered art style. For Instant Miso, I'm sure she would appreciate some pretty illustrations of like beautiful characters. So, I mean, it just depends. Like, I wouldn't necessarily base like entering the contest to like impress them, but it is something that I'm like, I would be excited to. Like for if I had like a favorite creator, I would be excited for them to read it and wonder what they think and hope it impressed them to an extent. Like, so I can see the appeal with that. But just remember, at the end of the day, they work for Webtoons just like you're trying to work for Webtoons. So at the end of the day, you want to impress Webtoons. So make sure to incorporate what Webtoons tells you to incorporate. All right, and so that is the judges for the 2025 contest that they have announced. I do not think they're going to announce anyone else that will be on these panels, but it is nice to get a little glimpse behind the curtain and be able to see all of these creators that will be participating, and you really get a nice well-rounded view of all of the types of stories that Webtoons could potentially be looking for, and the fact that Webtoons isn't just looking for a copy paste of the manhwas that are on the platform. Like, just look at this illustration in of itself. Like, look at how different all of these characters are for each category. Like, the only one to me that even has somewhat of a similar vibe would be Most Feels, and even with that, they're so different. It's just so different. So don't worry about art style. Do not worry about entering the category and being like, I did not win because I did not make a manhwa clone. No, you're good. I promise. You're so good. Okay, so with that, I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think of the judges, what you think of these categories, what you think about, who will be reviewing the series. Like, all of that is something that I find so interesting. Do you think that these judges are qualified? Do you think that they should be a part of the judging panel? Do you think that, maybe other people should be judging? Would you have liked someone else to be a judge? I want to know everything. Like, let me know everything that you can. All right, we'll do a quick Q&A, but I'm on break at work, so I don't have much time. So I've got like 5 minutes max. Max, people, max. Do not let me yap beyond 5 minutes. Let's see. Hello. I'm bored. I don't mind not winning the contest. I'd just like to grow my audience. You're going to have to market and advertise. Like, I totally feel that too, but I definitely feel like to take full advantage of this, you're going to have to put out some marketing, some promotion, please. Vanilla said, I love Instant Miso. I'm shaking at the thought she might read my comic. That is really cool. Like, I do think for if you admire someone or you think like they're an amazing artist or whatever, it is nice to be able to interact with them, to become friends with them, possibly, like all of that good stuff. So I can see the appeal to that to an extent. I would love to hear for whoever the top 40 are. I would love Webtoons to do like a small series on like from the judges' perspective, like why they picked the series or something like that. I don't think Webtoons would, but God, do y'all not have like a social media manager over there or something? Like there's so much content that you guys could make, and I would make it if I had the access. um, Cod said, I like Uachan, but I entered the most feels. I'm very interested to see what your comic is. Nero said, excited about Marionetta's Arthur judging most epic. Me too, me too. I like that. I like that she was thrown on there. Lucid said, this would be my first webtoon, so I made sure my story is only 10 episodes. Oh my God. I guess you're really going with the I'm just trying to pitch an idea here. I feel that, Lucid. Rena said, it's worth entering the competition literally just for those judges, in my opinion. I do think that, I really do hope that, like the judges are more public about the process a little bit. I think that would be so fun and engaging for the people who want to enter the contest. Like, just like little chances for the judges to talk to them. Like, it doesn't have to be live. I'm just saying, like, for them to like relay some sort of excitement about it. Like, that would be cool. Flan said, I wonder if adding abs will help level up my comic. As someone who preaches the abs gospel, like, it will help. Slime said, I finished 2 panels during the stream. Yay. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Nashel said, isn't the last contest have less diverse judges? So the style of winning stories in top 3 have kind of similar manhwa style. I don't know how to answer that. I didn't necessarily think of that. I can definitely see how the first place winner from the last contest, you could say, is very manga anime type. I could see that. But I don't know who the winners for the other contests were. Like, I'd have to go back and look that up. That might be something interesting to look at. How am I today? I'm pretty good. Yeah, no, the site is super outdated. I 1000% agree. Stray Kids are my religion. I'm entering most epic this Sunday. Ooh, name of series. Leave a comment down below so we know what it is. Anyone still at episode 1? You gotta get moving there. Oh no, you had to move suddenly? What happened? Yes. Stray Kids, let us know what it's called so we can support. Blinga said, honestly, not sure if I'll be able to speed run the work to make it, but I like the story enough to keep going even after the event. Yes, you can do it. Do you think leaving mystery is more ideal for the feels category? I think mystery in every series is beneficial because it leaves questions in readers' minds that makes them want to come back. Like, leaving a question to be answered is super important in any story. Like, having a bit of mystery helps every story, like just for the audience perspective of it. Stray said, Lord, the chat is moving. Stray said, my comic is called Blaze of Honor. It's a fantasy action. Ooh. We're going to support it. I promise. Pablo said, when I win, I will shout you out. I'm on episode 1. Yes. Please shout me out if you win. I'm not too proud to beg. Working on episode 2. Awesome. Simultaneously working on episode 1 and episode 2. That's diabolical. Oh, Ollie, you've got a new kitten? I want pictures. Pictures, please. Lynn said, just uploaded my first chapter, but I haven't had time to even announce it. I'm running to finish the 3rd episode. You got this. You got this. Pablo said, my comic's called Mindscape. Did I read your comic? I feel like I read something called Mindscape recently. Like, I remember reading Mime, but I feel like I read a Mindscape comic recently, too. True Dragon God of Destruction. Currently just stun locked on how I want to start episode 3. Storyboarding, I generally have no idea how I want to do it, but anything I had before doesn't feel good enough anymore for me. You got this, you got this. So I need something new. That's how I felt when I was in my script phase. I went through so many different versions of the script. And sometimes you just like, you need a break. So take a break from it, maybe get up, have a walk, like listen to like some hardcore music or something. I think it'll be great. Stray said, thank you so much for the support, Apollo and chat. Yes, yes, yes. Well, we're going to support the heck out of you. Nero said, I'm still on episode 1, though everything is storyboarded and good to go. Am entering full production at last. You got this. We got a month. We got like a month to get everything done. Prince Boring said, working on episode 3 while watching. Hope I can get it done soon. You got this. You got this. I promise. Pollo said, I uploaded my 2nd entry, but I'm going back and added more panels to the 3rd chapter. Okay, I feel that. Lynn said, mine's called Whimsical, Most Gripping. Ooh, okay, Lynn. Let's support all of this. Millie said, I finished my 3 entries. 3 entries? What the heck? Recently submitted it. Look up Ever Kiss. It's an alien romance. 3 entries is insane. That's insane behavior. I'm bored said, mine's called Cryptic Souls. If I ever end up uploading it, please let us know when you do. Yeah, we've got a full house tonight, like a good amount of viewers. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I've gone over my 5 minutes. Like, you guys did not remind me. So, with that, I just want to do a quick creator shout out. If you guys have not checked out this series, oh my good grief, it looks so good, like so good. You can pause the screen, take a screenshot, whatever you need to do to read it. Like that eye design right there just hooked me. Like sometimes I just get hooked from interesting designs. I love it so much. And the style is so professional. Like please support this creator. They are actually a part of our chat sometimes. And so I'm trying to support as many of you as possible. So you can DM me, you can message me, you know, whatever you need to do. And I will do my best to support as many people as I can. And so with that, just a big thank you to all of my patrons. I really appreciate all that you guys are doing for me. I really appreciate the love and support. Like you guys have worked with me as I've been working on the contest. And so thank you so much for everything that you do. If you guys want some extra content, you can get some behind the scenes of me working on my own project for the contest. Then you can join Patreon. I even have a free tier. So the free tier, you know, you still get access to a lot of stuff. I don't lock a lot of things behind the paywall, but some things are locked because I feel like the people who are paying do deserve some perks. But there are some extra videos on there that you can watch that are not public. So with that, I will say thank you so much to everyone. I will catch you all in the next video. All right, bye-bye.